would have been better off getting swept. Could have saved themselves a ton of aggravation and a blowout last night. Jason Tatum's ankle, which became an issue from the first play of the game, basically, Perloff, he was saying he was a shell of himself out there. And to be honest, I don't think we'd really be talking about breaking up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum if they had just been swept. We would have just said, okay, pay Jaylen Brown, and let's see if they can do better next time.
Wait.
Now all these painful moments have just been exposed with this collapse in Game 7. If it had gotten done easy, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It doesn't hurt nearly as much.
Oh, come on. You know that's not true. You know that if they gotten swept, Jaylen would probably be gone, and now he's probably staying.
Oh, I don't know if maybe Joe
These are the
Mazzulla.
turnovers?
Maybe Joe Mazzulla.
Well, I thought your argument was that they would have been better off getting swept because then they would have definitely fired Joe Mazzulla. Now they're going to bring.
That's also true.
Well, now they might bring Mazzulla back. I think you could look at this. You could look at this as the beginning of the building block for a championship Boston Celtics.
We've been looking at the building block, and they haven't been able to do it. The building block's been building since, 2018.
Well, I'm saying you could if they win a championship down the road.
Yeah,
if they do.
Sure.
What about continuity? What about letting guys who reach their apex of their NBA career? Jason Tatum's still not there yet. He's still not peaking. So why not keep this whole gang together? Why not use this as obviously it showed they're the best team in the East. They just don't play up to potential. So there's room for growth.
You're trying to convince yourself.
I tried to play a basic counter argument, but it's still better than a sweep. A sweep would have been so humiliating. Trust me, as someone who was regularly humiliated by my NBA team, the 76ers, that would have been so humiliating.
This was humiliating.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Well, I'll tell you why it wasn't. Because everyone knew they should never have gotten to Game 7 because they should have lost Game 6.
They should have lost Game 6. That was an all-time Derek White moment that now will be in the trash bin of history because we usually only remember the buzzer beaters when they actually are part of a winning series or something like that. Well, I don't know if we would have remembered the Derek White buzzer beater if, say, the Celtics did go on and win the Eastern Conference and then, lost to the Nuggets.
I think we would have. I think we'll still remember it a little bit. It's not like Jermaine Kershaw, the Seahawks, who had that great bobbling catch right before the Russell Wilson interception against the Patriots. At least they won the game. There's something there. I actually don't have the list in front of me. Are all the great buzzer beaters of championship teams?
It doesn't necessarily have to be a championship team, but to go on and win the series, one you'll remember very well, the Kawhi Leonard,
Yeah, and obviously
against your 76ers.
Bird steals the ball, Havlicek steals the ball, all the great buzzer beaters, Ori's buzzer beaters.
And Robert Ory's going to join us later on the show, so we'll ask him about it. But it's just that was an amazing moment for the Celtics. But again, even that I don't think is going to be celebrated because it's going to be part of the painful memory. You actually force a Game 7, and then it wasn't a complete no-show in Game 7 for Boston. It was just a crumbling. It just dismantled. Their whole ethos came apart. They could not hit a three-pointer. Tatum was obviously hurt and hobbled, but then your second best player is supposed to be Jaylen Brown, someone you're on the cusp of giving almost $300 million to, and he was terrible. You have so many more questions now than if you had just gotten swept. You get swept like the Lakers got swept. They have questions, but I don't think anyone thinks that LeBron and AD aren't coming back, right? LeBron can flirt with retirement all he wants, but he's coming back. Now you have again, two guys who are in their super prime, and there's just got to be bad vibes all over the place now.
Wait, I don't understand.
Worse vibes than a sweep.
How could there be worse vibes than a sweep?
Because you're looking across at the person next to you and thinking, I can't trust you in a big moment. You get swept, you get swept. But I can't trust you in a big moment.
You're
That's
a heavy
worse.
favorite to win the series, and you get swept. Getting swept is immediate change everything, right? I mean, they rip apart the entire thing if they get swept, right? Brown's gone.
But I don't think the Lakers are doing that, and they got swept.
But it doesn't matter. The Lakers could have gone 7 or 4. They have no real choices, right? I mean, they're not facing a Jaylen Brown situation.
No, but I don't think Darvin Ham is in trouble.
No,
and
but
they got swept.
Well, if they got, Mazzulla would already be gone if they got swept.
Mazzulla will be gone, and again, you said it, and I'll piggyback off of it. That might be the best thing for them. Is Joe Mazzulla going to automatically, magically turn into this much better coach because he's got a couple of his own assistants around? I mean, the learning curve was steep here. Good for him for climbing out of the 0-3 hole, but that was also just they started hitting shots, and they needed the miracle of miracle buzzer beaters to win Game 6.
So they became the 4th team ever to come back from 0-3 to force this 7-game series. That's a good thing. Also, if they had, let's say that they had gotten swept.
Yeah.
Brown's last game that we know about in losing streak, he had 12 points in a game. I know he sat at part of the fourth quarter. Like that would have been very bad. Like he was not good. I know he had all the turnovers last night, something he always does.
Yep.
They knew about the turnovers before last night. So, I mean, he'd be gone already. There's no way. I guarantee, I'll bet you anything they bring them both back.
I think they might bring them both back, too. I think what you're saying about continuity and all that, but it's going to be an even deeper wound, I think.
Well, I think
to get all the way to a Game 7 and lose in the way they did at home.
I just happen to disagree. I think the opposite. I think a sweep would have meant a signal that it's, hey, this is really not even close. This feels close. That's all I'm saying. I think we just disagree on this. I mean, if it was 0-4, Missoula would be fired for sure. That might be the significant one. I think everyone's caught up in their emotions. I think Jaylen Brown was sticking around anyway.
There's like literally 150 million reasons for him to want to stick around because the Celtics can offer him more money than any other team.
But also, from the Celtics are a little stuck. What's their other option besides Jaylen Brown?
I mean, there's trades out there. Dame Lillard. I mean, there's stuff out there. It's not all that. It might not be that appealing. But again, like how much are people going to look at this and say, like, wow, in the moment where you had it, you had a chance, you clawed, you scrapped, you scraped. And then, whether it was Tatum getting hurt and it threw everyone off balance, or whether it was not lack of adjustments, whether it was just the shots not falling, it just became so much more painful. And yeah, Kemba Tales is telling me in the chat, by that logic, it's better to not make the playoffs than to make the playoffs and lose. But,
no. I mean, honestly, I think the Thunder had a better year than Lakers. I mean, or no, I'm trying to think of someone. See, the Thunder did make a play. Did they make the play? And I can't remember. Yeah, no.
You can always claim you're building. You're building.
This is
you lose
insanity.
like that. There were so many expectations on the Celtics. You actually get the Game 7 at home. You blew it. I mean, it doesn't get worse.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine the hype with the Boston media controlling the NBA? I mean, every national reporter for the NBA is from Boston. If they'd gotten swept, it would have been mayhem. Mayhem. Honestly, it was already mayhem in 03. I understand what you're saying. This does look bad. But I do think that, first of all, you're not even giving any credit to the Heat. They have... We always do the LeBron-Jordan debate. I mean, clearly a three-way Caleb Martin, Jordan, LeBron debate.
Yes, I know.
He's right there.
How do we not put Caleb Martin in the...
The other thing, too, is Caleb Martin was the best player in the series on either team. So what are you going to do? I know everyone talks about Jimmy Butler, who got the series MVP. That's a fraud. Caleb Martin was the best player on the court.
Well, by the way, we don't even care about that, though. That became a thing literally a year ago.
What, the Eastern Conference? The
Eastern Conference
MVP, named after Kobe and Bill Russell or somebody? Or?
No. In the Eastern Conference, it's named after Bird and
Magic
Russell.
in the West.
Magic is in the West, but there's two. You get the
Bill Russell
the
is something else then?
And then the MVP. Bill Russell is the Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Is Bill Russell. It's another Celtic though. Yeah, it's Bird.
Yeah,
Bird is the Eastern Conference MVP trophy. Magic is the Western Conference MVP. Yes, right.
And Kobe's the All-Star Game MVP?
Yes.
Okay.
Kobe's All-Star.
Regardless, it should have been Caleb Martin. I can't believe that's the other thing too. You cannot not talk about the Heat. The Heat are a very, very good team. So I think that was also revealed in this. Hey, like they're a little better than us. Both of them are going to get. We can agree.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Slaughtered by the Nuggets. Yeah, I know. You and I can't even come up with
who's covering Joker in these guys? Bam gives up 4 inches to Joker. Anyway, regardless, I think that whole take. I understand what you're saying. They showed they were small in a big moment, but it's better than a sweep. And also, the Heat played really, really well. The Heat are good.
The Heat are really good, and it's a credit to them. Here's Jason Tatum, though, on what the team needs to change if they're going to win it all.
We had a special opportunity this year. We just fell a little bit short. It's not like we're not capable. We don't have the talent. We do. It just didn't go our way this year.
They do have the talent. That's true. But
they have the talent to get out of the East. Do they have the talent to beat a good Western Conference team?
Not this Nuggets team. But again, I don't think the Heat are going to beat the Nuggets either. I think the Nuggets, everything's just sort of lining up for them. We'll talk about that series in just a little bit. Do I think that, are they talented enough? Do they have all the talent? See,
they don't.
If Tatum and Brown are your two best guys, Tatum is great. But again, he has off shooting nights. I know everyone has off shooting nights, but he tends to have some pretty wild swings in terms of his shooting. And Brown, you cannot you just cannot count on. Al Horford, another year older. He looked pretty shot by the end of this game, or basically in this game. Derek White, I thought, was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean
he was excellent.
He's probably the best player. Him and Caleb Martin are the two best players.
Yes, in the series.
Did anyone notice that our guy, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, just is horrible at defense? Not just bad.
Disappeared.
Just horrible. Like, just laid off three-point shooter after three-point shooter.
Also, before the...
He played well in offense, though.
Before the Derek White put-back buzzer beater, was there anyone in the arena who doubted that Marcus Smart was taking that three?
Yeah.
Of course he was. And my mom knew that. She doesn't know about basketball. Everybody knew Marcus Smart was going to take that three. And miss it.
I think they're very talented. I think Jason Tatum's very talented, but I do think the rest... in the West, they'd be... What, the 9th, 10th best team? I'm sorry, they're just not that good. No, not 9th, but talent-wise, you have Tatum and Brown. Who's talented on that roster? Derek White is who you're giving me?
Yeah. Derek White, I think, is great. Listen, they traded for him last year. They traded a first-round pick for him. It's not like nothing.
Okay. He was a journeyman on the Spurs, right, when they traded.
Listen, let's not talk about journeyman because that's half the Heat roster.
I know. I just feel like this is like this. That's one of the reasons they had no margin for error. They're just not that. They're not that wildly a talented team. Like, they have to be. They can't have so many off nights. I don't think they're that talented.
Let's listen to Barkley, Charles, that is. Why the Celtics sucked in Game 7.
They play bad basketball. They're so undisciplined and unfundamentally sound. They win games strictly on talent. They don't even run an offense. That's what disappointed me the most.
Yeah, he was right watching this. And it's like talent can take you really, really far, right? It can. In the NBA, you have the best player on the court. You can go really far, maybe further than any other sport with like one singular or couple really talented guys. But Barkley's right. They are undisciplined. The turnovers, what are they running on offense?
Well, I mean, it seems like the same play every time, right? Tatum in the high post or Tatum at the top of the key. But I don't totally understand that. They didn't have the best player. That was obviously Jimmy Butler.
Or Caleb Martin.
Yeah,
I just kind of half kidding here.
I don't know. Amazing. I feel like they're talented. They're missing a piece here. I think they're missing some sort of, maybe it's a veteran. Al Horford's not the missing. I don't know. There's something is clearly missing. And it's not just talent, too. It's somebody like Jimmy Butler who inspires the other team.
Well, and the coach.
Well, yeah, but even last year, they were up 2-1, the Warriors, and they just don't have that Jimmy Butler thing. I would put it on a combination. But I'm not sure. I think they could use a different player. Do you think this squad with the right coach is an NBA champion?
You're right. Something's missing.
Yeah.
Something is missing, whether it's a player who has more of a killer instinct, whether it's a coach, I don't know. I think if Ime Udoka was still the coach, they probably would have won.
Won the series, yeah, but they'd probably be underdogs against the Nuggets.
I think so.
They don't have also the Joker who's like an easy basket at all times. Like, they're missing, I mean, they have to hit hard shots. I don't know. They could use a couple of easy baskets. No, I don't know.
No, they're just shooting threes. That's it. Shooting threes. And when you go 9 for 42 in Game 7 at home, you're gonna lose, and it wasn't close.
Yeah, I mean they're the biggest 3-point shooting team in the league, right? So I guess they signed their deal with the devil, but I just don't love the makeup. But I would stick with Brown because I honestly, Damian Lillard, 33.
I just am giving you that off the top of my head. There's much smarter basketball people who could come up with something better.
You and everybody else is talking about that specific trade, Jaylen Brown. Like, what if you had Damian Lillard? Yeah, actually, that's not bad. He's old.
He's older.
But I think that people want to rip up everybody. Let me ask you one more thing. Why is everyone firing coaches in the playoffs? What happened to you make the playoffs and you're okay? Like, I feel like the teams that didn't make the playoffs, the coaches are fine. And if you did make the playoffs and didn't win a title,
get the hell out of here.
You're out.
Like Doc Rivers, how many games did the 76ers win this year? Like 52?
Yeah, something like that. In the 50s.
Get out of here.
Budenholzer won in the 50s. Monty Williams won in the 50s.
There's the door.
And then Missoula, if he gets fired, would be the 4th playoff coach. I'm not sure. I get it. You would probably, if you give him a druthers, try something new, right?
If I'm the Celtics?
Yeah.
I would.